Hey guys, Dislitter Magic here. Sorry for the little bit late video or videos here. Wasn't feeling so great today. No big surprise if you've been following my channel and Twitter. Bit of a problem with some withdrawal from some medication I was on. I pretty much want to punch everybody today. Everybody, just indiscriminately. Oh, and also after work, me and Lucky went to the Old Dirty Chinese restaurant and played Old Dirty Magic. My Grey Doom deck beat his green Landfall Eldrazi deck, I guess we'll call it. And I gotta say, just like every other time, I get the mad munchies, like the Pac-Man level munchies when I get off of this medication. I didn't just eat some Chinese food, I ate all the Chinese food. I wouldn't be surprised if they're out of business tomorrow morning. So we were talking about what to tweak in his deck to make it a little bit better, and you just can't do it this close to the release of Amonkhet without considering Amonkhet. So let's take a look at even more spoilers, because you might spot something that you say, hey, that'll go in my deck. And actually, I'm not going to cover every last little spoiler, because some of them are just boring, dull filler cards or tribal fill-ins or, just whatever. So the most noteworthy ones are going to show up in this particular video. So first of all, we got the lands. There's 5 of them, obviously. They're in the rare slot because, well, watch my last video. And it looks like they're actually fetchable because it says Swamp Mountain on Canyon Slough, for example. So it enters the battlefield tapped. That's it. Cannot enter untapped, so it's already a very second-rate land. But they do have cycling too, where you can pay 2 generic and then discard this card and draw a card. So I guess if you pulled these late game, or you started with like a 4 or 5 land hand and you just don't need this, although you'd almost definitely have basics. I mean, you wouldn't want to take your color fixing and ditch it, but if you really wanted to, so almost definitely late game, like I said, you could top deck this and be like, oh, I don't need this. Just pay 2 and pull a different card, basically. So is that worth running out to get it? No, these are going to be probably virtually worthless. The color combinations are pretty nice, though. It's about damn time we got some more white-blue, for example. I've been waiting for that one, personally, and Port Town is complete garbage. Now, will these be popular in Modern? No, because they come in tapped no matter what. So who runs that type of color fixing? It would almost have to be like a 4-color deck at that point. I think they'll be huge in Commander, though, definitely. So I just don't see any of these really getting much above even like $5. I mean, it's almost like a guaranteed include just because it's there, but if some people really didn't want to drop the money, you could almost just say I don't need cycling and just run the regular duels. I don't remember which colors are legal right now compared to these, but it is possible, though. I should say if cycling triggers are good enough, you actually would want these. You also might be able to return a land to hand. There's a couple different functions that do that so far. So yeah, I mean, if every time you cycle, all opponent's creatures get -1/-1 counters, that already is a card. Okay, maybe you'd put these in. You'd almost put them in, like, even if you're playing mono black at that point, just to cycle. It's just another cycling card. And if it were a basic land and you top decked it on like turn 13, you probably don't need it. So you actually would want to cycle it plus the trigger. So very debatable about the power of these. They could go way up, they could go way down. I think at the end of the day, just in general, from what we know right now, not that great. Oh my gosh, I seriously just want to like take this mic and smash it. Don't do drugs, kids. Jeez, I'm just like all twitchy today and sweaty. It's terrible. Anyway, next up we got Crocodile of the Crossing. Pretty awesome artwork on that, I gotta say. It's kind of like Get Wrong 2.0. I like his giant bottom fangs too, because that just is unrealistic. And also, that's a weird tail. Just everything about this, it doesn't even look like a crocodile. The head is all wrong. Anyway, he has haste and he's a 5/4, so that's pretty cool because green doesn't have a whole lot like that right now. I think we all know that what we really need is Gaia's Revenge. That card would almost single-handedly turn around a standard as well as Life's Legacy. Those are the 2 green cards I want reprinted more than anything. But unfortunately, we get this Crocodile. So when it enters battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature you control. Yeah. Not really worth 5/4 for 4 with haste. I mean, unless you're going to win the game. Or if you have like a death trigger on purpose, I guess. I don't know. It's just so bad. Once again, long shot could be, oh, every creature that has a -1/-1 counter on it, blah. You know, some kind of thing that does that. Next up, we've got a really cool one. I love ambush cards like this. It's Jeruzalem, I believe it would be pronounced. Untap target creature, prevent all damage that would be dealt to it this turn. So, oh, you're trying to, red spell it. Okay. And then it just coincidentally untaps. Or, oh, you're trying to swing with something. Guess what? My 1/1 Death Toucher now prevents all damage that would be dealt to it, and I can block with it. Oh, I don't have any creatures left on the battlefield because you blew them all up. Cycling, discard it, draw a card. So will this be in a lot of white decks? Oh, hell yeah. But, it's a common. I wouldn't expect it to exactly hit $1. I just love ambushy stuff like this. You guys know I love a good, Immolating Glare, Celestial Flare kind of card. Combat tricks are even better, even though they rely on you actually having a creature and it being sufficient size to make a difference. Next up, we've got... The hell is this? I'm going to say Azaret the Pervert, it looks like. So, Azaret the Pervert, indestructible haste. It's either a 5/4 or a 4/5. God only knows at this point. Oh, it's Hazaret. That is such a hieroglyphic. That is not a letter H. Oh my God, whatever. So, Hazaret the Fervent, not Pervert. Oh, who knew? Can't attack or block unless you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. Wow, an unreliable card. That's exactly what everybody wants is like, oh God, after Fatal Push being unreliable and not necessarily killing anything with a mana cost above 2 reliably, now we've got this God card. Awesome. By the way, your ability to keep exactly 1 or fewer cards in hand is pretty damn low. Now, it is in red, so okay, just play Bird and then play this. And it costs 4, and it's a 5/4, and it has haste, and it's indestructible. So it's not bad, but it's not that great. Now, the other kind of cool thing is you can pay 3, discard a card, Hazaret deals 2 damage to each opponent. Get this garbage out of my face. There we go. Oh, it's a 5/4, by the way. Who knew? So this is the red god, and nobody cares because it's not a kitten, and the internet loves cats. So this with Madness is going to be insane, but then after that cycles out, we're left with this. It's going to drop. So same with the lands. As soon as they cycle out a standard, they're going to drop, like a ton. I don't like that. So you can just start chucking cards at random and dealing 2 damage to each opponent, not just one opponent. So yeah, this could be kind of big in, in Commander, maybe. Keeping very little cards in hand on purpose just to make 1 card work, though, it's not reliable, not historically. Or, well, I don't know about reliable, it's not a good idea, is what I'm getting at. Next up, we've got a card that we really didn't need. I hate it already. It's Trial of Knowledge. It's a 4-cost enchantment, uncommon, so can't be that expensive. And unfortunately, when it enters battlefield, draw 3 cards, then discard 1. Oh, good, because Glimmer and Anticipate weren't bad enough already. Now we've got this garbage, and almost nobody plays Enchantment Destruction. I can't wait for Red, White, Blue Control Loop Super Draw to be even better. The only problem is, when a cartouche enters the battlefield under your control, then you return it to its owner's hand, and then you still have to pay for anyway, and I don't think cartouches will fit in the Red, White, Blue Draw Loop decks. But if they did... You don't have to keep top decking Glimmer and Anticipate. You could just run this and some cartouches. They might even just shift to really going for this with heavy passive scry, and then, about the same amount of draw, but then also run Contingency Plan just to get Trial of Knowledge and to go get Torrential Gearhulk on time. So theoretically, this has a possibility to make Red, White, Blue even worse by giving them even more cards. Oh my God. They have to ban something. They just have to. And I would target Glimmer. It's the worst of the worst of the worst. Glimmer is just too damn good with Dynavolt Tower and too damn good in Red, White, Blue Saheeli combo. Or Red, White, Blue without the damn Saheeli combo, which just takes out Saheeli and Felidar and puts in 4 more counterspells and 4 more removals. That deck's just a riot to play against. And finally, we've got some kind of weird, sketchy, and large screenshot type thing, I don't know, of Gideon, Marshall, Paragon. And can't really read that, but I don't know, somebody did, apparently. So looks like we've got +2, untap all creatures you control. Those creatures receive +1/+1 until end of turn. That's not bad, I guess. I mean, it's kind of stupid. It's kind of like pseudo vigilance, I guess. I mean, in white, you wouldn't really have green mana dorks necessarily. I just don't see a point for it. It's just stupid. You can't do it as a block ambush. You can only do, planeswalker stuff on your own turn. I guess untapping stuff is kind of nice. You wouldn't get the +1/+1 unless you do it before combat, and then at that point you don't need them untapped. So that's just stupid. So 0 until end of turn, Gideon Martial Paragon becomes a 5/5 human soldier creature with indestructible. That's still a planeswalker. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. So even worse, even more restrictive, even more oppressive than the existing Gideon. Awesome. Good thing he costs 5 and his first ability is garbage. And finally, his ultimate, -10, which strongly suggests that this is from the Planeswalker deck. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Tap all your opponent creatures. Should be opponent's creatures. So that's a one-shotter. That is one of the worst ultimates I've ever seen on a Planeswalker, ever. So that's perfectly fine. This is very good because this does appear to be the Planeswalker deck version of Gideon, and he is unplayable garbage. I mean, the 0 ability is huge. You could just consider him a really expensive 5-cost creature, but the other 2 abilities are just terrible. And who's on the other one? Well, it's Lilliana Death Wielder. She costs 7, so she's utterly and completely unplayable in any kind of deck. I mean, if you built your whole deck to ramp up to this, prepare to be disappointed. +2, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 creature. Wow, you could kill a 4/4 after 4 turns. I mean, okay, the thing about -1/-1 counters is you could mess with combat. So in a combat-heavy deck, it actually is kind of nice. But you'll have lost the game by the time you get to 7 mana, so, good for you. -3, destroy target creature with a -1/-1 counter on it. Well, doesn't that just work nicely? So, unlike other Planeswalkers, it takes 2 turns to single-handedly blow up 1 single creature. Also, it doesn't even say exile. Exile would be so much nicer for delirium and stuff, and for indestructible. Nope, if it's indestructible, you better just keep putting -1/-1 counters on it. Oh, this is crap. Then we've got -10, return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, which is a garbage version of Rise of the Dark Realms. Fun fact, there was a Lilliana printed with basically Rise of the Dark Realms as her ultimate. It was return all creatures from all graveyards to the battlefield under your control. And not just till end of turn, permanently. It was quite good. So these look like crap, to the point where I might actually cancel my order of the Planeswalker decks. But that's fine because you guys know I was mega fed up with them lying about, oh, you'll never need any of the cards from the Planeswalker decks to play, quote, competitively in, quote, serious decks. I believe those were exactly what they said. In standard or whatever. You'll never feel obligated to put them in your deck. And then like 3 cards from both of the decks last time were super hot, including the Planeswalkers, which vastly were better than anything, or I should say their counterparts from the actual set. Tezzeret Master of Metal was better than the other Tezzeret, and Ajani was way better than his counterpart as well. So it's about damn time that they fix that. Okay, there is one more card that I should throw out, but card might be a little generous. Everything about this looks wrong. I'm not even going to list off like the 12 different things that I saw that look wrong on this. This is fake. I'm calling it right now. This is absolutely fake. There is so much wrong with this. Plus, this damn well better not be true. She needs to remain dead. Her and her, I'm going to summon 3 blockers so you can never kill me. No, I don't need that crap back in my life, thanks. So, allegedly, the dead in the storyline and hopefully never returning ever, Elspeth, is going to be on a card called Elspeth Returned, and it's one of these graveyard pieces of crap that everybody hates and are ugly as hell. Ultimate Sacrifice, cost 2, instant. As an additional cost to cast Ultimate Sacrifice, exile a Planeswalker you control, which already makes it unplayable garbage. Destroy all creatures. Okay, I mean, in a Super Friends deck, okay. Then, guess what? Elspeth Returned. No, she didn't. Well, she did because I'm pretty sure that that's recycled artwork, but other than that, no, she didn't. Target player gains 5 life as a +1. That's virtually unbeatable because then she's at 4, you're at 25 maybe. Who do you swing at? Same problem as the Nissa that everybody thought was underpowered. 0, exile target creature. Absolutely stupidly overpowered. Then we've got on -5, which she could do after 2 cycles, exile up to 5 target creatures. At least she doesn't, well, I wouldn't say she doesn't protect herself. She doesn't protect herself with 1/1 soldiers. Whatever, the card's fake anyway, who cares? If you see this, it's BS. The dimensions, the coloring, the set symbol, where it's at, the edges of it, the font, the recycled artwork, everything about this looks fake. I don't even really know where this came from. Apparently it was just like some website, somebody's freaking Instagram or something. I don't know. So I don't know the history and I don't care to look it up because it's fake, so who cares? I do not want to see Elspeth again. I hate her. She's right up there on my list with Ugin of Planeswalkers I never want to see again. In fact, I hope Nicol Bolas and then Ugin show up in the storyline. They do like the frickin' Dragon Ball Z fusion dance to fuse into frickin' Blue Eyes White Dragon or whatever the hell, and then Emrakul shows up and eats them both like Pac-Man. That would be my ideal storyline because then I wouldn't have to deal with either of them ever again. So what do you guys think about the rest of these spoilers? Anything that'll stand out as going in your deck, or is it pretty snooze so far? Because honestly, I don't see anything that I'm all that excited about. Well, now I'm going to go do about another 100 or 2 sit-ups because I feel like if I don't move, I'm going to explode. Once again, don't do drugs, kids. I'll see you guys next video.